Everything's fine on 93.9 Dublin South FM.
Came into my attention was that Chabahar airport, which has been developed by, not airport, the port, with the Iranian port has been developed with an Indian support and as a co-production. This project has been going on for quite some time. The Chabahar airport, the port, the shipping port of Chabahar in Iran has been collaboration between India and all that. And the US, as usual, criticise, sanctions and blah, and all that. So Jai Shankar, our foreign minister, has said a very interesting thing. He said it's a matter of communication, understanding the need of the world and the global and everything, and then to interfere, not to interfere into countries' internal affair. We can do what we like. What does it mean by sanctions that other countries cannot do what you want them not to do or what you want them to do? And that is something that the world order, the new world order, so to speak. If the American tells you don't do this, don't do business with that country, blah, and you succumb to that. No, that's nonsense. This is a international need of the hour. I'll dwell into that furthermore into my section of the talk that I have in my mind to discuss today, and I have a scripted couple of ideas of the global talk.
You are listening to 93.9 Dublin South FM.
Broadcasting from the Dundrum Town Centre, this is Dublin South FM.
Talking about the world affair that I would like to dwell upon today is the actual what's happening here at the national level as well. The national news is dominated by this particular issue of Ireland recognising the state of Palestine. Let's put it this way, and talk about the reaction of the Israeli embassy about it and how we are, doing what we need to be done about this particular ongoing onslaught, would I so say. Since every day there is an onslaught on Rafah, there is an onslaught on people, innocent people are getting killed and all that. And people are again moved like a hurdle, like a sheep's, like dogs from here, A to B, and all that. So when Ireland, with 4 other countries, have recognized the state of Palestine, and a 2-state solution and agreed on the 2-state solution, it has been criticized by our own Israeli embassy here in Ireland. And of course, the reason for that is that, of course, if you recognize Palestine, the people will continue the fighting and all the nonsense on that, regardless of the fact that who is at the fault. The world is crying the blood tears. Yes, the tears of blood is being cried by the everyday people who are doing rallies, people are doing this, that, the other, because you can't do anything. And now, if you have the ICJ, International Criminal Justice, talking about actually, as you heard in the international news, that ICJ is the International Court of Justice, and it has actually passes the decree on the basis of what's going on in the world, and indeed pinpoints the criminals. And they have announced the arrest of Benjamin Netanyahu and saying that he need to be arrested. And the response of that is that, this is outrageous. This is completely outrageous, and I can also tolerate the people who get killed here and all that. The baritone voice of Mr. Netanyahu, which has been been broadcasted all around the world, not accepting ICJ. So world is at one side, and Mr. Netanyahu, the invincible one individual, is on the. So if you compare it, the people of the world, how many people, billions we have? 4 billion or 3 billion people in the world. They're on one side. And obviously on the side of the Palestine, the state of Palestine. On the other side is only one individual, and he's carrying on onslaught. Anyway, This is a big issue, and it's not going to go away because the game is just beginning to, obviously, it's been going on for quite some time as a war. The ceasefire is must, because I've been listening to the head of the Trokra lady this afternoon, and she quite clearly articulated that occupied territory must be stopped, and the encroachment of land from the more people who are now encroaching the land and taking over the settlers, so to speak, must be stopped. This is a two-state solution, a state of Palestine, which is recognized by the four countries. Majority countries in Europe have not recognized that. The recognizing is another important and interesting point, because something which was already there was... What is the point of recognizing? I mean, how do you recognize something which was already there? You know, what was not there was this Zionist entity. I don't call it Israeli state because it's not Israeli state, it's a Zionist entity. Here we go. We have a Palestinian state existed. There's a coin, even from the times of Jesus, the state of Palestine existed. So recognizing something which has already existed is a daft concept to begin with. You cannot recognize. You have to acknowledge and you have to accept the fact that it does exist rather than recognize. Anyway, that is the language out there which is happening, vocabulary on the international market and news and things like that. But it's an absolutely abominable concept that is going on around the world, not stopping the onslaught of Rafah, which I've predicted ages ago. Everybody said, even Mr. Biden, we will oppose you if you go to Rafah, and we will really not support you, we will not supply you arms and all that. Where is that commitment? He has gone to the Rafah. He has, and defiantly said that even if the Americans would not support, we will stand alone in the world. So let him stand alone and let the world react what need to be done.
Everything's fine on 93.9 Dublin South FM.
But before that, I would like to bring another story to the world. My listeners particularly, you must have been following the horrendous natural disaster and helicopter tragedy crash that happened at the border of Azerbaijan and killing Iranian president, his foreign minister, and 4 other members of the crew of this helicopter returning back from a national ceremony that was taking place at the Iranian side of this side of the border of Azerbaijan, where they were holding some sort of a ceremony about the relationship between the two nations and things like that. This particular incident happened because of the bad weather, because obviously the visibility was very bad, and obviously the helicopter did crash. This is happening more and more because of the climate change that we are experiencing at the world. Singapore Airlines, which is one of the best airlines in the world, have recently, although they have finally landed okay, but killing one person with a heart attack, not because of the abrupt landing that they had, fatal landing, should I say, but it rescued all the passengers, and none of them got killed because of that. But there was a turbulence, and that turbulence did take place, and that affected the airplane. So airplanes, helicopters, and those kind of things are happening because of the severe, turbulences and things like that. So this Iranian aircraft, it was not aircraft actually, it was a helicopter. But this is another point, that they should have had flying a president and foreign minister and important dignitaries in a dilapidated, I would say, helicopter, because under the sanctions, they are unable to buy the new helicopters, new machines, new aircraft from the Boeing market of the world market, where Michael O'Leary can order 2,000 aircraft, no bother. But no, the Iranians cannot buy it because sanctions. And this sanctions business is another interesting thing that I like to shed my light on that. Who the hell you are to tell the other nations who to do business with, who not to do business with. Recently, the Americans were actually warning India and the Jaishankar, the foreign minister of India, replied or rebuttal very, very, very strongly and cleverly. He says that about the a scheme that is going on between India and Iran for developing a Chabahar port, the seaport Chabahar in Iran, in the collaboration with India. And it's a big project going on for quite some time, but they criticize, whoever does the business with Iran will be punished. That's what I'm saying. I mean, what kind of a logic is it? What kind of a jungle rule it is? Internationally, sanctions. Who approved these sanctions? Who are you to tell other countries? And similarly, threat has been given to Ireland as well. That, if you recognize, of course they have recognized Palestine. So this double standard, bystander, all the things that has been talked about it in the system is absolutely codwallop as far as I'm concerned. And it's nonsense. Countries and nations are free to do business and to, act upon according to their own national policy. They should not actually listen to it. So Jaishankar our foreign minister of India, has ignored that and has said that it's a matter of communication, understanding, very cleverly, because he is a clever man, and that's why he's holding the foreign ministry position as the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Anyway, this is something that I wanted to bring your attention to, that because of this tragedy, by the way, a 2-day Iranian film festival that I was very much part of that, as I was trying to actually organize here at the Dundrum Town Centre, in the Dundrum Movies at Dundrum, has been postponed to the 22nd to 23rd of June, rather than 15th and 16th of June, as previously planned. But these 2 days, they're being extended and postponed for another week, and now it will take place on the 22nd and 23rd of June. The 2 films, beautiful films. One is called Sea Boy, and the other one I'll talk about it later on. But that's in the news because of this tragedy that has occurred, and because of this tragedy that's making it a worldwide news. Anyway,